Append, we will take a look at the append. I'll just take one simple example. For example, in this itself, I just click on the new source, and here I say append is a very simple one. Append, it is still loaded. You can see something column 6. Okay, I think I added it explicitly. Okay, foreign sales, we just take this sheet, append 1. Foreign sales got, okay, 1 second. Next one is the Excel workbook, another file. So I'm going to combine these two data sets. Append 2. Okay, both of them seems to be okay only. So here you have an option called append queries. Okay, on this top you can see the append queries here. Append queries here. If you just click on this drop down thing, instead of using append queries has new. So you can append more than 2 tables also. Let's say your manager is given you, let's say in our case it is sales, right? The file name is sales. Second, the sheet name is sales, and the other one is foreign sales something, right? Yeah, foreign sales. It is something like this. Okay, both the table. See the, okay, I'll just combine these two things. But what happened here is, in the case of append, right? So in one table we have a column by the name of date. Another sheet we have the column by the name of date 1. Instead of date, right? It should have been date 1. Sorry, it should be date in one file. I just go here to the operating system, and then I'll show you. I intentionally did this. In real time, you're not supposed to make these kind of mistakes, because each file will hold millions and millions of records. If you blindly append it, click on append, right, it will take a hell lot of time to load it. After 8 hours you will get to know, oh, I should have renamed the column. Look here, this is my sales, and then sorry, this is my append 2. Let me open append 2. This is append 1, and next one is append 2. Look here, product sales currency, here also product sales currency, and date is there, but here date 1 is there, here location is there, right? location is there, column is there, but here location also it considered. So what happens is, it's simply which one append to, this is the one is append to, it simply copy this one, and then all the matching column values got appended together, right? So all the values, and this date one is there in my append to, whereas here date is there. So for that, what it does is it creates a separate column for this. Look here, it creates a separate column for this data set. Sorry, not here, here I should put. Here, right, it creates separate column for this. Here it is putting null null. This is my date one, right? So this is my date one. For the date one, this is what is happening. Since in the second data set I don't have the location column here, it simply puts null null here. So null null here. Do you think this is the right way of loading the data? It is wrong, isn't it? So ideally, in the second data set, you should have renamed this column as a date, so that all the date values in the second data set would have gone into this column. Unnecessarily it created another column, and for this data set there are no date one column is there, hence it puts null 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 null. If you have million records, million nulls will be there. So that is the reason why what you do is, before you load anything, right? So what I am going to do, for instance, I just go here, date is there. Always you need to check the column names also, or the column names are same or not. Look here, when I click this one, here date one is there, rename it. Better you rename it as date. And then you check in the foreign cells, do you really, in this ring, do you really need location? I don't need it, remove it. Okay, and then here you put, okay, everything is there. In case you need the location here, and in the case of sales, another data set, if you don't have the location, you need to ask your manager or the customer side, US customer, right? So you need to ask them in that project, sir, in this data set, we don't have location column. Other data set, we have location. Can you give me location in this data set also? Then they will give you new data set. Okay, it is their responsibility to give you the data. Don't wait till the end of the day, right? So every day evening 7 o'clock status call is there. Don't wait till end, right? So what you do is, if you tell them upfront, right? So very next day morning at least you will get the correct data. So in real time scenario, you will have to merge 10 files, 12 files, or 6 files, 8 files. Each file will have huge volume of the data. Okay, the rule, see here, still it does though the column names and the column names are different and the order of the columns are different, still it does the appending. But before we append the data, for example, so here, let me just, this is not working here. This some problem happened there. So this is my, right? So here, that is one check you need to ask the customer. First you need to check, before you append the data set, you check all the columns are in the proper order and the column names are same. All the columns are in the proper order, but in the first data set you have the column name as date, second data set you have column name as date one. So in that case, you need to either change the date one as date or change the date as date one in both. So on both the data set, the column name should be same. Remember this. Right, so when it comes to append, all the files, right? So all the files, column name should be same and the order of the column should also be same. Okay, in case of anything excess extra is there, you need to ask them why this column is, do I need to take into account of this one also? Fine. So another thing which you need to remember when it comes to append is, when you append the data like this, right? So this first data set and second data set got appended. Okay, the column names are correct. Here we don't have date one. Here in the second data set also we have date. Everything is correct. The column order, everything is correct. It appended the data one after another. Appended in the sense insert in it. So this data got inserted right after this one. Append does not take care of duplicate records. In case of duplicate record, it doesn't take care. You need to you need to take care of, in addition to checking the column names are consistent between all the between or across all the files which you are going to combine it, and also the order also matters. And third point is, after you append the data or after you combine all the data into single file, you need to check, do we have any duplicate records in it or not, right? In case of any duplicate records, it does something like double counting. You need to remember it. That's it. That's pretty much about append, and hope you are clear with the inner join, outer join, left outer join, all the things, right?